Yep. What up, everybody? Monday. Hope everybody had a St. Patrick's Day, good St. Patrick's Day weekend. Am I odd for being somebody that's always celebrated St. Patrick's Day? Even though I'm not really as Irish as maybe I thought I once was. But I am Irish. My grandmother's maiden name was Kelly. So that puts me right in. Not like Steve Gallo, my producer, Delco Steve. Although we'll get an update on a very Delco St. Patrick's Day weekend. I used to do the Aaron Express like when I was, I don't even want to say 25 years ago, but 25 years ago, 20 years ago. Aaron Express to Center City. Delco Steve, what are they doing in Delco?
I don't even remember what it's called anymore. Is it the Blarney bus?
The Blarney bus is what it used to be. Yes, it's the Blarney bus.
I don't even remember. I have no idea.
I'm
so out of that game.
It's all got to be alliterated properly, right? Like you have to have the Blarney bus, the Aaron Express.
It's all about the alliteration.
It's got to be alliterated. There you go. All right. Well, listen, Kenny Pickett spoke today. I'm sure everybody was pumped up to hear Kenny Pickett talk. But the first wave of free agency in the NFL is over, right? So the Eagles will sign additional players. They lost Jack Driscoll today, who really was one of their better line pieces. Sorry, I'm going to take my hood down. When I came down in the basement, it was freezing cold, so I had my hood up. But Jack Driscoll could play tackle, could play guard. I thought when he played pretty competently. But I guess they're looking to upgrade or they're not looking to spend. I'll be curious to see what Driscoll got from the Dolphins. Maybe it's a couple $1 million. But Sua Opeta, did he sign? I think he maybe signed, or I know he's a free agent. The Eagles don't seem like that they want to bring him back. So, adding pieces on the offensive line is really what I'm looking for the Eagles to do now in free agency and in the draft, just some depth. But really, for the most part, it's the first wave is definitely over. So I remember, Steve, do you remember doing? I think it was right before free agency, or was leading up to the free agency. We're like, all right, let's take a look at the Eagles away games and their home games. We don't know how they're going to fall other than if they're going to be in Brazil against the Browns, which would be the first Friday of the season. But we know the opponents. We don't know where they will. So that means something where the games are positioned and everything else. And it felt like that even without being negative, and I wasn't trying to be negative, I was trying to look at things objectively, not necessarily half full, but definitely not half empty, but objectively. And what did you come up with? 10 or 11? I think we were 9, 10.
Yeah, I think I had 9 or 10 and you had 8 or 9.
I don't think I said 8. I think I said 9. Well, right now, you would agree that maybe there's a couple of areas that you don't know who the starters are going to be. At right guard, who's the starter? Is it Steen? Is it one of the guys that they brought in via free agency? Is it maybe a draft pick? That Matt Hennessy could be a guy that competes for it. So that's a start, and that's a starter on the offensive line. Yep. So it's pretty
for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, you're right. So and we haven't had the draft yet, so we'll see what happens after the draft. But I have faith in the Eagles that they can figure that position out, or they better figure that position out. And then there's wide receiver. And I know they signed Devontae Parker. All right, we'll see what Devontae Parker is. It doesn't mean that he actually is still good. He's one of the slowest, if not the slowest, wide receiver in the National Football League the last 4 years. He had the least amount of separation speed of any wide receiver the last 4 years in a row, all 4 years. So he'll get a shot, and we'll see. They could also draft somebody, right? So, but wide receiver to me is still an important piece that they need to add to. And then you have corner. It feels like the safety position now has been shored up with CJ, GJ, and you have Blankenship. And I'm sure there's other guys that are back there that can play it. But not only do you need a slot corner, I was reading Jimmy Kempski today. He was questioning whether or not Bradbury makes this team. After June 1st, they could cut him. It's what happened to him with the Giants, remember? He didn't have a big market because they cut him so late.
Yep.
They conceivably still could cut Bradbury, and then what do you have? You have a bunch of guys that probably aren't
Isaiah Rodgers.
Right. So that's the wild card. Is Isaiah Rodgers, which we hate because that's what everybody brings up. Do we have anybody saying Isaiah Rodgers out there right now in the chat? But mean, to your point, he's the one guy that does have some upside because he did play well with the Colts before he got suspended for the gambling stuff. And then you have Ringo. Zach McPherson, I guess, would be the guy that would slot in as your starting slot corner right now, which I'm not okay with. So that could be a first-round draft pick. That could be one of your second-round draft picks. Reality is that if you're going to be starting a rookie, then he better be good enough. You know what I mean? Like you can't, and the Eagles did this too much before where they relied on a draft pick to be a starter. And I'm talking about 15 or 20 years ago. They relied on a draft pick to be a starter, and then it blew up in his face. So a little bit concerned still about that. But all that being said, I mean, I come out this week after free agency, the first week of free agency, and I'm like, I have some pep in my step with this team. Now I feel pretty good about this team. Now I'm looking at the team and saying, all right, Howie's done a great job so far. They still have like 20. I think Elliott had said he's guessing about $22 million left in the salary cap for this year, which is, by the way, they just make these contracts. They can do whatever the hell they want to. If they want to add more than 22, they could just position it to where they could add whatever. But there's still money to spend in case somebody comes up. So I'll be curious to see. We're going to go over the schedule again because other teams have made moves too. We're going to go over the schedule again coming up here in a minute, and we'll see if we do actually feel better about the team. So just in general, Steve, after the first week, are you feeling much differently about this team as we kind of enter now the draft will kind of be our focus here going forward?
I definitely, we talked about this before, but that we're big draft guys, and we think that's a big part of building the team, obviously.
Yes.
But so my opinion's going to be delayed, obviously, until I see what they do there. But no, I do think the signing Barkley is an indication that they're going to be running the ball more and being that kind of ground and pound dominant defense or offense that they used to be, and then the explosive plays over the top with AJ and Devontae, then yeah, I would say I'd feel better about this offense so far.
So someone just had said something about the cap space. So that's not including Pickett. That's not including a couple of the moves they just did. I'll try to find Elliott's tweet that he put out or whatever. But like if you factor in some moves that were recently made, he's guessing to have around $22 million under the cap. So let me see. Where do you have it right here? And Kenny Pickett was introduced to the press today. We'll play some of that sound coming up here in just a second. But so Elliott says that they have around $34 million after Saquon and Huff. I'd guess Pickett, Parker, White, Burks, Hennessy, CJ, GJ take another $12 million off the books. I doubt the sweat deal will open up any cap space, but it's possible. So very rough guess are around $22 million in cap space. So yeah, they
still you have to sign draft picks as well,
right? Which is probably another 10 or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, so that the reality is there's not starters out there on the market. You can make a trade, but there are starters out there on the market via trade or even right now, maybe. But I would like to see an experienced corner in here. Maybe they take a look at Isaiah Rodgers in the mini camps, and then they try to make a move after that. Remember, they didn't have Bradbury till late the first year that he was signed. So
I might have missed this, but did Avonte Maddox sign anywhere yet?
He did not, and it's possible he comes back, but that would be for a very minimal
if you got
amount,
it
right?
Yeah, if you got him on a good deal, would you bring him back?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as long as you're not paying him to necessarily be a starter, I would give.
If you pay him $1 million or $2 million and he comes back in his slot, comes back in the slot and performs healthy,
right? Yeah. So so Philly Sports Pride. I know that you're saying over the cap has it at 39. That's not accounted for the recent signings that they've had. So I tend to believe Elliott here over, you're just going over the cap and looking at it. But the reality is that if they want to make moves, they'll make moves, right? Like it doesn't matter. They could have $5 million for the salary cap. They can just give a new signing bonus or something, or they can write the contract into the future. So also some Justin Simmons talk out here in the chat. They're not signing Justin Simmons. I mean, CJ, GJ didn't even make that much money when you look at the contract. I mean, I guess they could, but I don't.
It's a 1-year rebuild year.
I mean,
go for a ring.
I'd be good. I'd be good with it. Also, did you see what Devin White got?
No, I didn't see.
So it's really, and you know this, Steve. Every time that when I see that they write, like Schefter wrote up to $7.5 million, I make sure I emphasize it and I say up to $7.5 million.
Yep.
Looks like it's a $4 million contract, and the rest are incentives and things like that. So, yeah,
he's talented. If he performs well, he's going to get it.
Yeah,
great, love it.
For sure.
Hope he bounces. I hope he's the White from the Super Bowl team because that dude was unstoppable.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that's what you remember from them winning the Super Bowl was because to me, it was weird him wearing a linebacker in the 40s. And it stood out. Then it did. It stood out to me. And it's like, well, is he a safety or a linebacker? Like, what's his deal? And it's like, oh man, he's definitely a linebacker. But
then he's all over. And then he's all over the field. So it's like, oh, what position is he playing?
Right. Right. Well,
but he hasn't been that guy for a couple of years now. So we'll see.
Yeah. What someone that I respect had said that 4 of his 5 years he hasn't been good. He had that one good year, and that's obviously what we remember. So that's why his market is what it is. But all right, so let's look at. Go ahead.
I would say he was growing into the player that he was that year, the first couple of years, and then he dipped back. So, well, when you're building player, you can't just say they're trash right off the bat. If you see them making strides, if it's not like a Jalen Reagor, it's like, oh, he's trash and he hasn't gotten better, period. That's a different story.
Right. I mean, it's there. The talent's still there. I mean, maybe he's lost a half of a step or a step. He's still more talented than any linebacker on the roster. Yeah. I mean, maybe he comes in and he does a lot of things he did at Tampa Bay, which is he wows you in some games, and in other games you're like, what is he doing? He's terrible. Why does he do that? Who knows? We'll see. But you know what? I know at least he has the talent. What I've watched out of the linebacker position last year, year before that, I mean, their linebackers weren't even on the NFL roster to start the year last year. Zach Cunningham, Nick Morrow. Who am I missing? I mean, Ben Van Summerson or whatever his name was. I mean,
he was an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, from Michigan State. I liked them. Love fine. But like he's a special teams player. So they've put some numbers in linebacker. They've signed a couple of linebackers to 1-year contracts, and they're trying to see who sticks or what sticks. If they're special teamers or part-time players, that's great. If they're not, one of the guys actually is a breakthrough player, even if it's for a year, who cares? So I like the fact that they're throwing multiple guys at the position to see like the Bond guy. There's another linebacker that I think they signed over the weekend. I can't remember his name, but they're at least like there's a bunch of new linebackers, the Sean Bradleys of the world, and those guys that obviously aren't panning out. Get them out of here. I don't care if you drafted them, and bring some fresh blood in here.
They're pretty much extended draft picks. They're just lottery tickets. If you get a couple to hit, great.
And if you don't, you don't. Yep. All right. So let's do it. Let's start with the away games here. And the people in the chat and certainly commenting on YouTube can chime in as well. So I don't remember saying 8 wins. At the very least, I said 9. And I think even with 9, maybe I went back up to 10. But I did this with Mike Gill as well, as you were off that Friday. So I did it the next night. Maybe I went up 1. So knowing what we know now, and knowing what the draft is, and the draft, they have 2 second-round draft picks. They just traded that 3rd away, right? Is that the one they traded away?
They swapped the 3rd and the 4th for the 4th for Pickett.
So now they have 2 4s. That 3rd was at the end of the 3rd round. It was in the compensation territory, so it was really like an early 4th-round pick. But so we know what they have with the draft. We know they have plenty of cap space. So here is the away games in 2024. So they play the NFC East. We know that. Ravens, Saints, Bucks, Bengals, Rams. The Bucks have their quarterback and their wide receiver back. I mean, to me, they're a wild card-ish at best team. If the Eagles are humming, they should go down there and win, which they haven't done in a while.
Correct.
So Ravens is a tough game. I hate the Saints. That's also a tough place to play. Really, when you look at all the games outside the NFC East, they're not going to be favored against the Ravens. They're not going to be favored against the Bengals. It depends when the game is.
The Bengals could end up being the worst team in their division this year, which is saying something.
Or they could win 11 games and be back deep in the playoffs. Yes, but you're right. But you're right. They could be. Rams were much better last year than I thought. Rams were good last year.
I don't know how we didn't mention this on Friday. Aaron Donald retiring. That was
yep.
And not that it was a shock because obviously he's talked about it the last few years, but at the same time,
But
it kind of came out of left field for when it happened.
But it's still when a guy's playing at that high of a level and he still has that much earning power.
Yep.
He's only 30, right?
He's only been in the league 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years, 10 all pro or Pro Bowls.
32, yeah.
All
So
pros.
32. Yeah, he's an all-time player. Unbelievable. Yep. And that's why you wanted to see him play a little bit longer, but good for him, man. Good for him. Yeah, so you lose him, but look at the young talent that the Rams have that they were able to get. There's 2 young receivers that they have that Cooper Kupp can never stay healthy. And Stafford was really good last year too. And Sean McVay also is a hell of a coach.
But I think I said Rams was a loss the first time through. I think I changed my opinion on that.
All right. So there you go.
Because of Aaron Donald.
NFC East, Ravens, Saints, Bucks, Bengals, Rams. They have the extra home game, which is really the Brazil game. When we'll get to the home games in a second. So I'm going to look at it right here. I'll say 1-2 in the NFC East.
Agreed.
Lost to the Ravens 3.
Agreed.
I'll give them 1 loss to the Saints and the Bucks 4. So one of those 2 they'll lose. Oh man, that's not 3 and 5 in the division wouldn't be good.
I'm going win-win at the end. So I agree with the NFC East 1-2. I agree with loss to the Ravens. I agree with splitting Bucks Saints, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't. And that's where the games lineup matter.
Right. It's like, say that Saints game is week 2 when we come home from Brazil.
Or if it's in between a Cowboys and another high-profile game.
A Ravens game.
Yes. Yeah, and you're looking ahead or you're looking behind or whatever, and that's how you lose those games.
Yep.
So this is all subject to change. All right, so if
I'll go 1. So I'm at 1-2, 1-3, 2-4, 4-4. I'm at 4-4.
So you're 4-4 on the road.
Yeah, I definitely did not have them at 500 on the road the first time through.
Yeah, I don't think either one of us did. All right, see, I don't think they're beating the Bengals and the Rams. Saints, Bucks, they should beat both of them, but so if
my thought process with the Rams game is now if you have the dominant run game without Aaron Donald in the game, you could just milk the clock on that offense.
Yeah, I mean, they beat them. They beat them last year when they weren't playing well, and then later on in the season they were playing well. And again, that also matters too. If you played the Rams in the last couple of weeks of the season, you're not winning that game. They couldn't beat the freaking Cardinals. All right, so you say 4-4. I don't want to say 3-5. So we have some 5-3s here. Really, 5-3.
That's everyone just saying we sweep the division, guaranteed. Which never happens.
Never happens. Could tie the Bengals.
Tradition.
I also look at it and say that, like, if I go 1-2 in the NFC East on the road, then I'm going 2-1 on at home. So, like, are they going 3-3 against the NFC East? Look what they do against the Cowboys every year. They're not sweeping the Cowboys.
They never sweep the Cowboys, and then you expect them to win the other 2. So I say you go 3-0 at home, especially with the Giants and.
So did they win? Did they win all 4 last year against Washington and New York, or no?
No,
they lost the last game to the Giants.
They lost to the Giants at the end.
God, I don't even want to count that one. But see, if I'm judging myself based on that game, they're not even like, forget about it. I don't even want to do this exercise.
Yeah, we're a top 5 pick and we're rebuilding.
All right. Let's do the home games. All right, NFC East, Browns in Brazil. I saw somebody comment on this.
Oof.
That you know what? Like, that Browns game, you don't know what to expect. If it was Lincoln Financial Field, opening night, I'd be like, all right, Deshaun Watson coming back. Like, you don't feel good about it just because the X factor Deshaun Watson is, but you get him. I'd rather get him early in the season than get him going after, like mid-season.
His best game of the year last year was the game he played with a broken shoulder.
Yep. Yeah, he was good. The last couple games, albeit in the second half, he had really good second halves. Like, you could tell that he was starting to put it together. Yeah, and then he played that great game with a broken shoulder.
It makes no sense.
All right.
None whatsoever.
Panthers.
There's a lot changing in this one for me.
Steelers.
Falcons.
Kirk Cousins isn't coming up here and winning. Kirk Cousins makes them better because they can beat the teams in their division now.
If they make the Falcons come here on a
Stop it.
Thursday night or a Sunday night, then they're not winning. But if that's a 1 o'clock or a 4 o'clock game, that's possible.
It's because you're rooting for Kirk Cousins to win a Super Bowl in Atlanta.
I like Kirk Cousins.
I know you do.
For it, but I like Kirk Cousins. And I'm probably going to have a lot of fantasy stock in that team this year. So I'm probably going to be rooting for that. Not against us, but I think they're going to be good.
So here's my question. Why aren't the Eagles losing to the Giants or the Commanders? They have the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
These
when was the last time we swept the division?
Dude, I don't know.
I'm going to see if I can find it.
Cowboys are cooked? Vince, man, I don't know if you have a different TV than I do. But not that I'm telling you the Cowboys are winning a Super Bowl or anything like that, but you got to be kidding me. Cowboys have really, I don't want to say dominated the Eagles, but they've had the better of the Eagles. All right, so NFC East, Browns. So Panthers win, Falcons win. And I'll say they'll win 2 of 3 over the Steelers, Packers, and the Jags. I'll allow for 1 loss there, and I'll allow for 1 loss against the NFC East. So I'll say 1 NFC East loss. They're going to beat the Browns. So I have them 7-2.
I have
6-3, 7-2.
I have 3 I have 3. I'm saying they sweep the NFC East, and then going Panthers win, Jaguars win.
I'll give them a loss in Steelers, Packers, and Jags. That could be 2 losses, but I'll give them 1 loss there. Again, we'll see where the games end up. And then 1 loss against the NFC East. They're not losing to the Panthers. They suck. The Browns is kind of a wild card, man.
I got 5-3 with a coin flip of the Browns. That's the last one.
Okay. So 6 games here. So 6-3.
I have 5-3, like in my head, definite, and the Browns game is like a coin flip. Okay. So, for the sake of argument, I'll say they win this week 1. All
right, so you have it 6-3, and what was your away? What'd you have them away?
4-4. 4-4. So I'm at 10-7 again.
So you're at 10. Man.
Well, I think so. I think I gave a win.
9.
I think I gave a win on the road schedule that I didn't have before, and I took the Falcons away. Okay. And I added the Steelers in as a loss too.
But you'll be rooting for Kirk Cousins and the Falcons that week against the Eagles.
No, I will not.
He's your guy.
No, I will not. That is not the case. If the Eagles want to win like 50-49 that week, that's fine with me.
I think being objective, 10 is the fair number. Being right, because I had 3 wins or 4 wins, and then I have 6 or 7 here. So if you kind of split the difference, 10, maybe on the high end, 11. But if this offense comes out and it looks like a friggin' juggernaut like it did 2 years ago, then we're going to be thinking different numbers.
Yeah, that conversation changes 100%.
Yep.
Because that makes everything better. It makes the defense, like we talk about these teams in like powerhouse offenses, they make their defenses so much better.
Yep. No, so what I said was of the Steelers, Packers, and Jags, they'll lose 1 of those games. Sometimes I just like to group them. And when I actually see the schedule, I'll look at it in 4s and I'll say they're going 3-1 here. They're going 2-2 here. So I'm kind of doing the same thing right here where you have the NFC East games and then I'm looking like, all right, between the Steelers, Packers, and the Jags, they should go 2-1 there. They may go 3-0. Like we'll see how well they're playing at home, but just kind of trying to be fair without knowing any more details. I'm going to say like the Steelers defense is that good. It's a matter of not only do they have Russell Wilson now, but now they also have insurance of Justin Fields.
He's going to be the starter in no time.
So did that happen on Friday or did that happen after we were?
It happened Saturday.
So it did. All right. So Justin Fields goes for a 6th round draft pick that can turn into a 4th based on playing time.
I would have did that trade before Pickett in a heartbeat.
So the reason why you wouldn't is you're afraid
of controversy.
Yep. Yeah. And if you look at straight analytics, which, we're big analytics guys, Steve, but they graded out about the same last year, Pickett and Fields, with Fields being a better runner.
Oh, that's the only reason I want Fields.
All right,
because he comes in and can change a game. If I'm not saying replacing Hurts because of bad play, I'm saying if Hurts gets hurt, then you have a guy that can step in and change the game with just his legs. He doesn't even need to throw the ball to necessarily win the game.
So Jalen Hurts he's out for a game. He's out for 2 games. Who do you want your quarterback for those 2 games?
Fields.
Not even close.
It's not a conversation.
It's to me, everybody else, I don't know what it is, bro. Everybody else is like, guys, Fields stinks or whatever. Maybe I just watched some different games. I know that he's still a little bit raw. You talk about some of the worst coaching in football that he got in Chicago, one of the worst organizations in football. That stuff matters. Kenny Pickett wasn't any better, except Fields actually
Matt Canada is the worst offensive coordinator I've ever watched.
No, listen, Kenny Pickett got no favors done to him with the offensive coaching and the offense in Pittsburgh. No doubt about that. But if you're talking about raw talent,
yes.
Fields pops. He pops. He can make throws that not a lot of people can. Pickett, here's what Pickett needs. Pickett needs a lot of talent around him, and he needs to have confidence to where he's running the offense and he's in rhythm. So he can make those throws. He just hasn't been accurate. And I'm fine with putting it on the Steelers. Like, fuck the Steelers. Their offense sucks. They always, year in and year out, their offense sucks. Ben Roethlisberger and some of those years right there, like, they were good. Outside of that, their offense has not been good in a long time. So, and actually, Adam has a good point. They might have wanted Fields, and when Chicago talked about doing right for Justin Fields after they traded him, it makes sense that they would say, where do you want to go?
Or at least give you a chance where he's got a chance to compete, where he's not competing here in Philly.
Right. Yeah. Russell Wilson's a 1-year contract where you could beat him out. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, you could beat him in training camp.
Right. Yep.
But it's like what I just pulled up was Fields has the second most rushing yards for a single season by a quarterback. He's just behind Lamar. So I just like having that kind of talent on my roster. That's about
for a game or two. That dynamic can win you a game. He's not your starter. You're not going to the playoffs with him. He still has to evolve as a quarterback.
Well, think about a couple games that he missed this season. Fields did, and Tyson Bagent came in and played and was running all over the place. Yep. He won a game that way.
He did. He wasn't bad at all, actually.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. All right, there you go. I guess some baseball signing here. Delco Steve Schnell signs with the Giants, as a lot of people were holding out hope. I didn't see what the numbers were, if it was a 1-year contract or whatever. The Phillies absolutely need a starting pitcher. Absolutely. They're not signing Jordan Montgomery or Snell. I don't believe that I never felt like they were going to find Snell.
2 years, 62.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Dean Digman says they're not signing a starter at this point. I agree. I'm not telling you they don't need a starter. Maybe they're going to have to do that if need be at the trade deadline. And I think they will. I'd feel a lot better with another starter, but they're not going to all you need to know. They went after the Japanese.
Yamamoto.
They went after him. They were used as leverage to bid up the price on him.
Apparently they had the highest bid.
Yeah, exactly. So he signs with the Dodgers and the Phillies. So that tells you the Phillies were trying to get another starting pitcher in here, but just wasn't happening. They have a top 5 rotation in baseball. And why he's saying that is because overall from 1 to 5, he's not saying it because of trying to get rid of this comment here. This bear. Sorry. Hi, there you go. I mean, I don't know. In a playoff series, do they have a top 5 rotation in a playoff series?
No, it was top. When it comes to playoff rotation, it's your 1, 2, 3 horses, and that's it.
Yeah, I guess people are higher on Nola than me. I don't like the signing. If that's your starting pitcher that you're going out and spending a lot of money on, I'm fine if they're adding somebody else. They can't have Aaron Nola as your number 2 starter. It's not good enough, in my opinion.
If Nola's your 3 in a playoff series, and you have Suarez as your 4, great.
Perfect. Yeah, Suarez can come out of the bullpen if need be. He's your 4 starter. Yeah, like Aaron Nola can't be my number 2. I don't think that's good enough to win a World Series. So Zach Wheeler's fine. I love Zach Wheeler. And Chris Sale going to Atlanta. That's a hell of a trade by Atlanta. Let's see what he does down there. But that's a hell of a trade. He's got velocity back. He's up like 2 miles an hour. from where he was with Boston last year. That's it. You know, Dombrowski traded for him. Dombrowski gave them the contract extension. So I wonder if they weren't, and they really didn't give up a great prospect. They gave up a top 50 prospect for him, Marquise Grissom's kid. But I mean, they didn't give up. They weren't giving up Crawford or Andrew Painter or anything like that to get him. I would have liked to have some. I would have liked to had something where, hey, maybe it doesn't work out, but at least you have. Yeah, it's a big swing, whether it's a miss or it's a hit. That's what Chris Sale is next year for the Braves. More Phillies talk coming up here in the next couple of weeks, Delco Steve, as the season starts soon.
I'm gonna have to start doing my baseball research because I know jack shit.
No,
I know a little bit, but not much.
No.
It's my least strong sports knowledge.
I don't need. I actually I have an announcement on something with the Phillies coming up here in the next 2 weeks. Not working with the Phillies or anything like that, but I'll be having some Phillies conversations going forward. It's something that I said to Spike asking at WIP. I said, listen. Like, because at one point in time, I'll just say, I won't say which franchise it was, but I had an opportunity to go work for one of the teams as being almost like Dave Spadaro of the team. And like, it just wasn't, I was like, I'd get bored. It's not something that I want to do. And there's a lot of reasons why, whatever. But, I'd said to Spike, I'm like, listen, I'm more or less right now, now being on WIP and going forward and the opinions that you want me to have, it's a death sentence for working for a team. If I go and I'm honest about Joel Embiid and the Phillies and the Eagles or whatever, they'll never hire me now. So it's something that I said, all right. Well,
yeah, those two don't jive.
Yeah, there you go. I did, of course, Vince. I worked with Darren Dalton. I was the co-host of Talking Baseball with Dutch from 2008 until 2012. And that's when I moved to middays at the Fanatic. And Joe DeCamera took over for the last month of that season and then the next season, which is actually where Dutch developed the brain cancer stuff. I remember he came into the studio one day and he was having real problems of he couldn't remember what floor to press in the building. And you remember how the elevators were set up in one bala. He was just really confused. He could barely even make it to the studio. And it's like, what's wrong? And I remember I went to a Yingling appearance with him that was in Phoenixville. Liz and I, my wife, went, and Dutch's wife, Amanda, was there. And she was telling us, she's like, yeah, it's happened a couple of other times. And it's like, you got to get him to the doctor. And I remember talking to him and saying, Dutch, this isn't something to mess around with, because immediately what you think is exactly what it was, which is some type of a brain tumor or having mini strokes, like what's going on with him. And we know the rest, but yeah, man, it's when I talk about the best things that I've done working on the radio in my radio career, obviously Ike, the last 6 years that I worked, 6+ years that I worked with Ike, was awesome and unbelievable. We went to Super Bowls. The Eagles won a Super Bowl. We went to a World Series. Time of my life.
Great stretch.
It was a great stretch. But there was something about the time working with Dutch and working with Mike. Because when Dutch, I remember we brought him in studio and he was with this Atlantic City trooper who he knew. And then he had a business manager. His name was Tony Perry. And Tony was a nice guy. Tony was also like his running buddy. But Tony took care of him when Dutch did jail time. He had DUI, and there was the whole thing with the geckos, and he was like, he believed in all these weird theories and all this other stuff. And he came in studio with us with Mike and Mike Miss, and he was great. And I remember talking to Tony afterwards and being like, bro, this town loves him. Like, we need to get him back. We need to get him back more. I didn't realize that he would start doing a nightly, daily show on the Fanatic, which was awesome. So, yeah, Dutch was my guy. It was a big loss. It really was. It was a big loss. I love the guy. Everybody that I've worked with in this business and really in life, you learn something from, right? And sometimes you learn things not to do. Sometimes you learn things to do. And Dutch, how great he was with his fans. And it was so genuine. He was just amazing. He would somehow make, like, there'd be a woman that still had a mullet that was in love with him in 1992, that was still in love with him however many 30 years later, 20 years later. And in the course of 90 seconds, he was able to make her feel special and make her day, and then move on to the next person that came out to whatever event to meet him, because that's just the kind of guy that he was. He was the best. He really was. That's just an amazing guy, and I miss him a lot. All right, let's we've got a couple other things going on here at Delco, Steve. Also, coming up on it's coming up here. It's this Sunday. It's less than a week away.
Sunday.
Less than a week away. I saw you post it.
I tweeted it too, Vince.
Yep.
Tweeted it right before the show.
Where's my? I lost my notes here. What are we doing?
We still got the Kenny Pickett video from earlier that we mentioned.
No, I know, but I had. Oh, I put it all the way down here. No, I had notes on your. I had notes on it.
Gotcha.
All right. So is it the 9th annual or the 10th annual?
9th.
So it's the 9th annual Nicole Gallo 5K run and walk for Steve's sister. Since you started the event, so this is the 9th. I don't want to do the math here, but since you started the event,
we missed a year or two in there.
Oh, because of the
COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Nicole Gallo Sunshine and Bubbles Scholarship for Bonner and Prendy students. So, Steve, tell us about it. So, I saw how many donations and the amount of donation or the amount of scholarships that you've given over the course of the years. So, it's a 5K run walk. 100% of the proceeds go directly towards the funding of the scholarships in Nicole's name at Monsignor Bonner and Archbishop Pendergrass High School. And you have 60 students to this date that have received financial aid and relief in her name.
Yeah, I think we give out like 3 or 4 every year. Like it's either partial or full. And then there's been other instances where people just have a situation where they need help, and we were able to do that too. So, and that's really cool. It's like, because it gets keep kids in school, or at least in our school. Obviously, they're whatever. But no, so it's good. It's a good thing that we do, and we do it up through my grade school too at Holy Cross, that are going to Bonner and Prendy, or so like stuff like that. So it hits a lot of different age groups there.
All right, so there's a 5K through Drexel Hill, the Kids Fun Run, which Steve, I will be there on Sunday, and I will be there with the Fun Run kids.
It's a 100-yard dash.
Good.
So
food to follow.
Get their girls wind sprints going.
Music. Oh yeah, no, for sure. You know what I was doing on Saturday? We were, because the weather was nice. We were outside, so they're setting up these obstacle courses, and we're racing. So I gave them they demanded such a head start so they could have a chance to win. But I said, if I give you a head start, I'm going 100% full out. I'm beating you. And so we were running around the house. Man, I kicked it into high gear like I was in my 20s in shape. And I definitely didn't pull a hammy.
Don't tell me you hurt yourself.
Yeah. I was sprinting. I wasn't doing hit or anything like that where it's shorter intervals. No, I was sprinting down the stretch like Barbaro, trying to win that last stretch.
Were you Mr. Freeze, the Atlanta guy that just smokes all the people at the end?
No.
Yeah, well, you let them get the head start. You know what I mean?
I did. But I still
win.
I still won.
That's all. Then you won.
I did. But so I'm getting them ready for this. All right. So again, it's Sunday, and just go to Steve's Twitter, because he did tweet Gallo 3310, put out his fresh tweet tonight. So, and if you can't make it and say hello, if you can donate something, definitely
anything helps.
Donate something. Anything helps, and it's for a great cause in honor of Steve.
And I greatly appreciate it. My family appreciate it. We've been doing this stuff for a long time, and we've met a lot of awesome people and had a lot of awesome people help us out along the way. It's been a good run.
Yep. All right. And Vince says he hopes I stretched. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
To raise a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old? Come on.
It wasn't planned. I was literally I was laying on the slide in the sun because it was so nice. And they're like, no, want to do this obstacle course where we run around the house and you go in between the chairs and you got to pick up a ball and you punt the ball and then you run back to the shed and hit the shed. And I went back and watched it in security cameras, and I was cooking, man.
Did you set up the course or did the girls set up the course?
They set it up. No, they definitely set it up. Yep. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good day. And then yesterday, as we'll do a St. Patty's recap before we move on to some other stuff. But yesterday we had my daughter's friends over and their parents, 10 a.m. There's some crafts. We set it up outside. It was warm enough to put it outside, so everybody wasn't in the house. And then they were out playing on the swing set and stuff like that. I was drinking before 10 a.m.
Love it.
I had some high noons. I was not drinking Guinness or anything like that. So I just had some
drinking high noons, not having a nooner, just to be specific for anyone that's listening.
No nooner. We do not talk about nooners anymore.
Nope. High noons.
Some of the people that were over or some of the people that got the memo to not text.
I love it.
So Rick, who is one of the dads, I think he watches live every night, so he's probably watching right now. So he told his wife and the girlfriends. So they saw me. They're like, "Don't worry, we won't text Liz." And I'm like, "Oh my god! Like, don't even talk about it out loud. Don't get me in trouble."
You're not getting the point here, people.
No, they're cool.
No, I'm kidding.
The boxing match is supposed to be against the camera. No, not Gilio. So you know this story, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, so the camera was like, "Oh, I'll beat you in half-court basketball one-on-one." So I said, "All right, let's box first, and then I'll play you in basketball."
He might beat you in basketball, but there's no way he's beating you in boxing. He's a twig.
Well, now he's fat, though. He's in worse shape, too. No, I mean, like,
really?
All right,
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, so if we played the 10, maybe he would beat me 10-8 or 11-9. Right, like I'm not telling you that our skill levels are similar at basketball. By the way, Joe's not a bad athlete at all. So, like, yeah, maybe he would, but he was acting like he's the supreme athlete to me. So I was just like, all right, let's box. I already know what I do that. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, why not? You're sitting here trying to press my buttons. Like, I'll press your button. I'm like, let's wrestle. I'll even put a singlet on. Let's wrestle.
I do not want to see you in a singlet.
No, I don't want to see myself in a singlet either. I would even put on the hoodie footy that I wore to Richard Lewis.
Well, that would be funny if you beat him in a wrestling match while wearing that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it gets any more humiliating than that.
All right. So what was your? I know you were going out. You were going to go out in Delco on Saturday for St. Patty's weekend.
Yeah, we actually didn't make our plans work. We ended up at my buddy's house with his fiance, sitting on their deck because it was nice, and we're like, oh, this is pretty. Let's do this instead. And then had another couple friends come out, and we went to Papoose just for the night. It was chill, more chill than anything.
Papoose?
The parade. Yep, Papoose Pizza Pub.
Ah, I did see pictures of the parade because I was looking for stuff.
The parade was nuts, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't find any
Springfield parade.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I didn't see any good videos. I was looking for good videos. That would have been something to go out and send a correspondent out to the Delco St. Patrick's Day parade.
That probably, I probably missed out. I probably missed an opportunity on that one. Didn't even think of that.
Oh man! All right, so listen, chill Delco St. Patrick's Day. That's disappointing.
Yeah. Went out to lunch with my cousin and her fiance yesterday, and came home and I took a gummy and watched golf. It was great.
Oh man! So are these the real gummies or the fake ones? The fake ones you're allowed to buy in Pennsylvania.
It was a 5% CBD, 5% THC.
So where do you buy it? Do you have a card?
No, I was given it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You gotta go to Jersey. I mean, it's so stupid that
I did find the website to buy them though.
Well, that's illegal.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just like I don't
semantics.
No, I know, but I just unfortunately because I don't want to get a card. So you just go to Jersey because I need it.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
The gummies are great.
I mean, the assholes in this state are more or less saying, and it's what I screamed about for years. And then Ed Riddell finally came in the office as governor and said, "How much money is leaving our state going into New Jersey every year? Like, so why do we not have casinos and things like that? Like, if people are going to go do it, then we should be able to." So I say the same thing with cannabis. It's like why the restrictions? I know it's a matter of when, not if, and hopefully it's like 2 years away. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. All right.
No, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, Mike D says Herb should have been the correspondent.
Oh, that would have been great.
So Herb was.
He probably would have got arrested.
Yeah. No, Herb wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't know what to do. Herb was at the WIP, had their Birdstown Hall, and my buddy Pat Malloy, Maniac Malloy of Parks, of Bet Parks,
Yep,
was there doing stuff. So he was interviewing Herb for something, and I texted him, I'm like, dude, because you know Dumph, Dumphy, the big guy with all the tattoos all over his body. He does stuff for Bet Parks. Like, dude, you got to hire Herb. Bring Herb and Dumph and put them out there doing videos.
Oh Christ!
How good would that be? All right. Anyway, all right. So we have Pickett. You want to play Pickett here?
Yeah, let's get the Pickett. Let's bash Kenny Pickett.
All right. Well, here's Kenny Pickett, who, here's Kenny Pickett at the press conference today. He's being asked about the whole situation in Pittsburgh and if he thought he handled everything well, because the stories that were out there was he said that I'm not going to be the third quarterback. If you're benching me, I'm not going to be the third quarterback. And he was uninterested in competing with Russell Wilson. He also, the new one was he canceled he was supposed to do like a throwing thing with some wide receivers. He canceled, he bailed on that. So here's Kenny Pickett answering those questions.
I think the communication, is what it is. It was behind closed doors. I'm confident in the way that I handled it. I handled it the way I should have handled it. I'm excited to be here. It worked out so well that Philly was the place I ended up landing in. So I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
How did your family find out?
Oh, there you go. It gets cut off. Yeah, he's kind of a handsome fella.
Dude, that hair is terrible.
So you don't like the hair?
No. It's got if you're gonna.
I think the communication.
If you're gonna go with the long, it's got to be like consistent. Like, what's the freaking?
What's your problem with it?
I don't like this, like the part over here with the flippy part. It's just
you don't like the flippy part to the right side of the head?
Yeah, no. It's just make it go all the way back. Yeah, just make it go all the way back.
So you want him to slick it back and put it in a small ponytail?
Yeah, if he had a man bun right now, I would like it better.
I think it looks good. I like the hair.
Nah, I'm out.
I didn't realize
go like full sunshine. Like
I didn't realize he was that handsome. He's handsome. That's good hair right there. You don't like the hair?
Nah, I'm out on this hair.
See, right there, you can see it's kind of slicked.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't.
It looks like a Mel Kiper that's longer.
A Mel Kiper that's longer. Well,
yeah.
So you're telling me there's product in there, but it's only like a light to medium hold. So there's a little bit of hold, but it's not like Kiper to me wears a high
helmet.
Hold. All right. Well,
as a hair guy over here, I'm saying I don't like it.
We are a hair guy.
I am a hair guy.
You have great hair. You really do. But sometimes you wear the hat because
late shower today, so it was a little.
Well, yeah, you didn't have time. Here's the other thing: you don't want to put product in it and then go to bed.
Correct.
Right? Like that. That's why my hair is flat, because I already showered, and what I would need to do is put product in my hair prior to.
Yeah, if I get home at a good time and jump right in the shower, I'll do it, because by the time I go to bed, it's faded out a little bit.
Well, listen, Adam, Kenny Pickett's what, 25, 26, something like that. When I was 25 or 26, my hairline was great. There you go. All right. That's a good one. He does look like Don Johnson. A little bit like a young Don Johnson with long hair. Don Johnson at Miami Vice. That's a good call, man. All right. There you go. All right. What else do we have here that we were going to talk about? So I wanted to do this, right? I actually sent you that. So I always talk about my setup in the basement. And with having people all over, we're drooling over two gloves. He's a handsome fella, Oz. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a fan.
He's got small everything else, though.
He does. He's got small hands. Yeah, listen. I got to turn that down. So having people over yesterday means, as much as we want to try to keep them outside or upstairs, all these kids know that there's a ton of shit in the basement. So not even asking, all of a sudden they're just like, boom, and there's like 10
Train wreck.
little girls or boys running around downstairs. So it's like, oh my God. They actually didn't, and we cleaned it to where they were like it was everything was cleaned up down here. I put all my broadcasting equipment away or whatever. But still,
Yeah, you can't leave that out.
Yeah, I'm not leaving it out. So it was over there. So they saw it, but so it was fine. So I'm going to take you for a tour of my the basement.
Oh, we got a secondary camera. Uh-oh.
All right, we ready?
Yep, you got it.
So first of all, here's my broadcasting site. It's at the bar.
Oh, so you're pretty much at the same setup as me then.
Yep. Yeah, you're in the kitchen. I'm in the basement. So that's it right there. I could have a TV on if I wanted to. So to the left, look at this. Just look at this. Do you know how many things with Legos
it's so
that
weird
is?
seeing you leave the other screen to a different room.
Lego table. Foosball table. We actually use this. And now let's go into the fun part. Now, when I turn this light on, you're going to hear a puzzle start. No, it didn't happen. Usually it's like a puzzle that when the light puts on. So this is, look at this. So this is the nursery. There's that. High chairs. Dolls all over the place. This is what didn't get cleaned up. All right, so the Barbie Dream House.
It could be worse.
Shopping checkout thing. Kitchen. Craft thing up there. Table. That's for the big dolls. And I have 3 other doll houses in the house. 2 upstairs, 1 in the bedroom. There's that.
Everyone wants to know where the piano is.
Yeah, it's upstairs. So that's a hair salon right there. House. I'm working my way around. So as you can see, like if I didn't have all this kid shit everywhere, I actually have a pretty cool basement. But bathrooms in there.
You got about 18 more years, buddy.
Yep. There you go. There's the freaking gymnastics mat. The bar, and then back here.
And then we're back.
Yep.
All right, leaving the studio now. All right, I'm back. Back in front of the piano. So when people are like, "Well, you set something up in your basement," like build a little studio in the basement. Where the fuck am I putting a studio in the basement? I mean, the only reason I have room for this is because I can sit on a stool and there's nothing below me. This is it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You got a closet down there? You just stuff yourself into a personal closet.
Nope. I honestly used to use my my walk-in closet during COVID. I did because my walk-in closet in my bedroom is big. So I just put a table in there and I was able to do it. It actually worked perfectly with the acoustics because all the shirts and stuff were almost like it was a real studio.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, well, there you go.
I'm gonna start setting something up upstairs for myself. Actually, I got a TV wall mount the other day.
Yeah,
we're moving on that.
So
I can stop looking to my right to watch the Sixers blow a game and have it just be in front of me. So
it happened again. I know they had a big lead. They had a big lead when I was watching it, and I saw some people in the chat talking about it. So now they're up though.
I have them up 6 now with 1:30, but I'm probably a little behind because I stream.
I stream too. I have a 1:12. They're up 4 points. As Joel Embiid can't come back fast enough, man.
No,
like even when Maxey's playing well, they just don't have enough. And if they don't have enough, if Embiid coming back's not gonna fix it. It's gonna make them better, but still, they're a player or 2 short. Lowry was playing pretty well when I saw it tonight. They just don't have enough.
And you need him back early enough where you get a chance for some of these new guys to jive with him too.
He's good. He's practicing, so he's good. He's good there.
No, I'm not in my parents' kitchen. I'm in my kitchen.
No, Steve owns his house. He doesn't live with his parents, like a lot of Delco people do. What's I looking for? Try screens for your computers. I should get try screens for the computers. Why? What does that even mean?
I don't even know what they are.
Well, like the extra monitor one? No, I have nowhere to put it. No, you think I'm making money? I'm financing this effing thing. Like my old, like literally, I was ready to do this, and it's like, oh, my computer's completely fried. Like, damn it. That's
I think I've significantly screwed up my computer since we've started this.
yeah, no, I haven't. I get to it. All right, so there you go. All right, so we have we didn't get, so let's do this. We didn't get to James Franklin, so let's and what's the other one that we have here?
The Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, so Jose Alvarado. This is live on the broadcast.
This is great.
So here's Jose Alvarado talking to the fellas during the spring training game. And
no, Jose is make sure your legs are strong.
You know, allá I'm the grizzly bear.
Yeah, you are.
I am the grizzly bear. I got sometimes I call like to my people in the clubhouse, bro, I feel like a fat boy. You know, like I'm fucking fat.
we didn't have the aftermath of that, did they?
No, I didn't get it. I never gave
Did T-Mac just quickly change the subject?
I see. That's why I hope they were like, "Oh yeah, sorry for that language," but
I don't think they said anything. No,
I love when people that have no idea what they're doing curse on air. It's great. I love it because it makes me feel better about myself.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, sometimes I can't tell you how many times we've had players on and they curse, and my lot has cursed a couple times. I'm trying to think of the one that I'm thinking of. That's like pretty much if you bring him on, he's going to curse. And I know Frank the Animal Bialowis used to curse multiple times he used to come on with Anthony. It'd be like once he hit the limit, didn't have any dump left. You had to get him off the air.
It's like the Pat McAfee show when they say like the F word and then they all say it as many times as they can in the next 7 seconds.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Herb curses. Herb has cursed numerous times. Yep. Good old Herb. People are asking for an update on Herb. I texted with him over the weekend. He was got working
on the book.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a busy guy. He is. Let's see. Oh, he said that he was heading over to the Penn basketball game, or the Penn baseball park for game against Villanova. I'm like, all right, have fun.
That sounds like such a riveting weekend.
Hey, Herb, people are asking when you are. The other thing is Herb's literally staying up to come on with us, coming on because he like, I'll be like, yo, Herb, he's like, what time? He's like, can I come on at 8? And I'm like, no, we don't start till 9, Herb.
You know what time we start.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, well, you should know what time we start.
Yes, you should know. But he'll be like, he'll respond and say, hey, Herb, people are asking when you're coming on the show again. He'll be like, what show? He'll act like that he didn't do it. All right, so James Franklin. Yeah, this is what's great is that we both hate him.
I can't stand this dude.
What are we playing first? Are we playing because we have two things? Are we playing how he screwed and this is old news by now, but how he to make himself try to look better. So he's like, oh yeah, I talked to Saquon, blah 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 blah. So here's James Franklin, how he's getting now the Eagles are going to be the Eagles are being investigated for tampering because of James Franklin at Penn State. Listen.
To play within the state, in Philadelphia, he said that was one of the first things that Howie said to him on the phone as part of kind of his sales pitch to him was not only the Philadelphia Eagles and that, but obviously the connection with Penn State and the fan bases as well.
Yeah, there you go. Well, there you go, James. Thanks. Appreciate it, buddy.
It's like, dude, you know how these things work. Like, you know the rules of these leagues. And all he had to do is, the agent said to Saquon or this, that, the other thing. It could have been framed any different way than that it's going to come back and bite us in the ass.
Than that, yep. No, but then he couldn't have said that he was, like totally unnecessary. I mean, his whole point was he wanted to show off and be like, yeah, that's my guy, Saquon.
Yep.
You know, I recruited him and played him. Great player. Oh, now he's with the Eagles. So all the Eagles fans are gonna be like, yay, James Franklin's so cool, whatever. And pretty much if you're a Penn State fan, then that's the only not like he's calling me.
Herb.
Yeah, when I texted him, so this is what he does. So can I answer it while I'm on here? What will it do? I'm afraid it'll cut here. Let's answer it right here.
Well, you're on your lap. Yeah, it should be fine on your phone if you answer on your phone.
Herb. We're doing the show, man. We're just wrapping up the show. That's why people were asking, so that's why I texted you. No, I know. Oh, they're pulling your tooth? All right. Which tooth's getting pulled? Which tooth's getting pulled?
Number 30 on the right side.
So it's in the back? Oh man, you are not going to be feeling good that night. All right, well listen, we'll say tentatively Wednesday, but if not, we'll try to do something before the end of the week.
Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday we're off, so let's try to do it by Thursday.
Okay. All right. All right, Herb. I'm telling you, man, a lot of people they were asking for updates.
There was a lot of people at McGurk's last week.
I know. I saw you were talking to my guy Pat Malloy from Parks.
Yeah, that's the guy. He interviewed me for a while.
I know. I had said to him they should hire you to be a brand ambassador. I'm serious. I just booked. Before I come into work tomorrow, I got going over to pay for my airfare for Brazil. You going to the Eagles game?
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
Now, are you how well? We got to save this for when you're actually on the phone on the line. Did you so where are you on the book? Have you made any advances with the book? Are you on what chapter are you on now?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right.
It's like halfway done.
Well, Herb, listen, get to Wednesday, and then hopefully you'll get some. Will they be prescribing painkillers for you after they pull the tooth? Maybe some heroin.
Oh, can you take the painkillers and then come on air?
I've been taking painkillers all week.
Oh, because it hurts. Gotcha. Yeah, people are wondering if you can take morphine and then come on with us. That would be fun. All right, Herb. And listen, a lot of people are saying beware of Brazil because you may not come back. They may capture you and take your organs. Maybe not your organs, but
what are you getting for Herb's organs?
All right, Herb.
I'll talk to you in a couple of days.
All right, buddy. Be well. All right. Yeah, there's Herb. He was driving the Wells Fargo bus because you could hear the employees in the background. So there you go.
What could you sell Herb's organs for?
Nothing. That's what I'm saying. If it was a younger person, maybe the organs. They'll just rob them.
He'll end up in a jail cell in Brazil.
Yeah. Well, he went by himself to, where was he? He was in Thailand or something last year.
Yeah, but they love those kind of people in Thailand.
But I said to Herb, I go, bro, that like child molesters go to Thailand. Like, that's not something. I'm like, what are you doing in Thailand? He goes, you know what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't sound good, bro.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It sounds like you're going to and that I don't think that's what happened, because privately I talked to him and he said that there was nothing that, I don't know. I figure
there's no hanky panky going on.
Well, I thought he was taking money down there to go, go be with paid professionals. I didn't think he was going to try to meet somebody at the bar and romance them, but yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right. Like, you think Herb would know any better? Yeah.
No. Oh my God.
Oh man. Yeah. Yep. I'm sure John.
Just like throw Herb in The Hangover 2 and see how that goes.
Dude, it totally would work. Totally would. All right. So this is some James Franklin. I'm gonna play this before we get out of here, because this is how much of a dick this guy is. So this is a question by a guy named Corey Geiger Corey Geiger did sports radio in State College back when the whole Joe Paterno thing happened. I remember because he was getting death threats. He wasn't towing the company line or the State College line of everything's fine. What are we talking about? He was actually critical of Joe Paterno in the college, which people did not like. So I think he's working out of Pittsburgh now. But this is Corey Geiger asking James Franklin a question. Listen.
Hey, good afternoon, James.
Hey, Corey.
A follow-up to what you were just asked there about Drew. Is there a balance, though, between, hey, we need you to throw the ball deep no matter – just take a shot. Don't overthink it. Take a shot. We need to see it. We're going to call it. And we need you to get some confidence in doing this as opposed to even giving a young quarterback the chance to say, hey, just check it down if it's not there.
All right, so real fast before he gives the answer. Like, the passing game was known to be dink and dunk, and they did not – there was not a vertical passing game. So the question is, hey, let's just tell them to throw 50-50 balls. There doesn't have to be wide open wide receivers, right? Like, does that sound like a bad question to you?
No.
What he's asking?
It's a logical question.
Right.
It's opening up the offense.
Right. Like, are you telling your young quarterback that doesn't have a lot of confidence to throw down the field, like, hey, listen, put the ball up there and let your receiver make a play, right? So that's the question. It seemed perfectly valid to me.
I don't really understand what you're saying because we would never I'm like my skin is curling when you say just drop back and chuck it deep no matter what. Like that is like I don't even know what you're saying. It's like you're speaking like from
just
Mars.
Send the guy in a post pattern, take the shot, throw it.
No matter what.
Give your receiver a chance to make a play on a ball, even if he might be covered 30 yards down the field. Maybe you think he'll be open 45 yards down the field and like Godwin did, or with Jahan or KJ.
I still don't like you're speaking Japanese. We have never done that. Just throw the ball up and maybe he'll be open. And
yeah, you're right, James, because that's not football.
No NFL quarterbacks.
No, nobody does that. No, nobody does that. You don't just throw the ball up.
Yeah, you hear interviews after the game all the time where it's, I decided to give my guy a chance and I just threw it up for him. Yeah,
and here, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, how many balls 2 years ago did Jalen throw up to AJ and said make a play? Even Devontae, who's not the biggest guy in the world, of course that's what you do. Why is this guy such an asshole that he can't even answer?
He sounds
question?
Stupid. He sounds stupid.
He's an asshole and he sounds stupid. He really does. All you had to do. You could just give a nothing. But to say that's Japanese or the guys from Mars or skins curling, which whatever that means.
Yeah. But what the year the Eagles beat the Falcons to go to the first round of the playoffs to the year of the Super Bowl, the last three plays were literally just throw up plays to Julio Jones. That's all the play was every time. I doubt he even had a name. It was just like, hey, we're gonna go stand in the corner and we're gonna throw it up to you. See if you can catch it.
Maybe he'll catch it. Like my skin is like you're making me uncomfortable. Like I don't know what you're talking about. So
okay.
Yeah, we would not do that. We would never do that.
Making me uncomfortable.
We've never thought about doing that as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator, as a receivers coach. I coached the receivers. I didn't want them to do that.
I hate him. I don't even like Penn State, and I hate him.
As a receivers coach, he's a former receiver coach. He's a former offensive coordinator. They would never teach that. They would never give 50-50 balls to the wide receiver. Never. For a Penn State offense that dinked and dunked. That's what the offense was. That was the criticism of the offense. That's why the question was that. And he obviously is mad, and he knows that it was a question that was out there, so that's why he's got to come over the top.
So, no. Strong, no. No. I'm hoping we can cut this out so this doesn't even get out into the universe.
Well, maybe if you didn't sound like such a dipshit, it wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Wow. It's almost like a fake cut. It's almost like a fake that somebody would go that over the top and be that offended.
Yep.
We can cut this out. So now you're flexing and saying, stop asking me questions like this. So that's what that is about. you're flexing your muscles to the local media and say, hey, if you keep with this narrative, I'm not going to give you guys anything. That's what you get a lot with college coaches in these college towns, because the reporters will be like, okay.
I don't know how he's such a good. The only reason he still has that job is because he's such a good recruiter, and I have no idea how he is. Because if that guy came into my house and was saying, "Come play for me," no, I'm good. I'm on to the next guy.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, there he is. There's James.
Yeah. Speaking about uncomfortable, there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations to be had at Penn State. Like, let's be honest here. Like that should be the least. Throwing up 50-50 balls should be the least of your uncomfortability.
Yeah, I don't like Penn State, but I watch damn near every game that they play. If they're good, I have a lot more interest. But then I enjoy when they lose to the Ohio States and the Michigans, because he's exposed in those games. Yeah, they'll beat Purdue and Iowa and all the second tier Big Ten teams.
They're going to lose a lot more games now. Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA. Well, not so much UCLA, but
yep.
The other three.
All right. Well, Delco Steve again coming up this Sunday. Go to his Twitter, Gallo3310. The Nicole Gallo Sunshine and Bubbles. The 9th annual Nicole Gallo Sunshine and Bubbles Scholarship. It's coming up on Sunday, and it's not even in the morning. It's in the early afternoon, right? I think
we let it get to warm up a little bit before we get out there.
Very cool. Very smart too, as well. So that's coming up on Sunday. Steve, have a good night, buddy. We will.
You too, my man.
We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Subscribe, comment, listen, follow at John Marks Media on all socials, including, and don't follow Delco Steve. Follow his Instagram if you want to see him bench pressing and squatting. Escalo33. It's unbelievable. All right, there you go. Everybody have a good night. Talk to you.
Peace.